Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the retrospectives on the U.S. Supreme Court term, not just passed, really, almost a month old, with the bell-ringing, incredibly far-sweeping immunity opinion, and the theme of John Roberts, Chief Justice, returning to his hyper-conservative roots. This is something I expected, that there would be two justices whose work would be the subject of intrigue and focus and the sort of journalistic conceit of finding trends. And the progressives were all basically shut out of everything important, so hard to discern any kind of important trends. They were, despite efforts, unable to cobble together much of anything save individual opinions dissenting. And Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch on the right were, basically the cranks they always have been. So that putative center turned out to be, one way to sort of summarize the whole term is that putative center was not too centrist. Kavanaugh or Barrett somewhat, and Roberts in particular. And so this sort of second wave of accounts of the court focuses on Roberts. Now, what do they focus on? Recall who Roberts is to the American people in large part. This is, sort of second point here is this very hyper-conservative, ideological warrior court. Roberts, though, is the institutionalist, the guy who worries about the Supreme Court, who in certain kinds of cases tries to temporize, tries to attend to what people will be saying about the court. In the Roe v. Wade case, tried, after there were 5 votes to overrule, to see if he both expressed the view and tried to hedge back a little so you didn't have to drop that thunderbolt of the overruling of Roe versus Wade. The guy at confirmation hearings who says the justice is just the umpire, modesty in the judiciary and the like, and a sort of pretense or view of the judge as just a kind of channeler of the law and not a mover and shaker of it. That's Roberts the institutionalist, and the basic stories that are coming out are, Roberts the institutionalist became Roberts the ideological warrior in favor of somewhat Republicans, but also somewhat broad gauge views of presidential power in particular. Okay, so third, I want to add a little personal, in this, always be suspicious of inside baseball stories where they concern the Supreme Court, but I am going to deliver an inside baseball story here based on my time at the DOJ. I was at the DOJ for a little bit of time at the end of the George H.W. Bush tenure under Bill Barr. I think that chapter in my life has been well chronicled, and my views of Bill Barr at the time. But Roberts was there, and I'm just here to tell you, who was John Roberts then? He's the political solicitor general. He was the hard-nosed, just nasty, absolutist, ideological warrior, especially as it concerned presidential power. So he was someone with a broad theoretical view of the Constitution and a strong desire to move it right, a guy that people were afraid of. I did a few moot courts with him, and he is unbelievably quick on his feet and he was not sort of going along. He was driving the train that was going hard right. That's who he was. Now, he then went into private practice. He's a, smooth, if somewhat laconic actor who, you're in private practice, you take on all comers. Then he's nominated to be Associate Justice, and then Rehnquist dies, and he's nominated to be a Chief Justice. And he There's some chief justices who warm to a greater institutional role and understand that responsibility. He's a very, very thoughtful person about the law generally. And so when he got up there and fed the court that problem about a justice is just an umpire, and some of the things he's done since, I don't think have all been insincere. Rather, I think he recognizes that as Chief Justice, it really falls to him or no one, especially with the romper room around him, in particular Alito and Thomas, to keep the court from going completely over the cliff of public opinion. And I also think there are things sort of that fit on the conservative, list that he's not so hot and bothered about. He can, in fact, compromise without seeming to have really got into bone of what he cares about. But the immunity case. So executive power is absolutely his North Star. It was then, and I think it is now. And so the stories that are coming out, back to the retrospectives, have like, oh, what happened to my Roberts, say the progressives, who maybe one could make a deal with. Even Barrett did something. And then I'll have on the right, yay, my Roberts is back, say the very conservative members of the Federalist Society and the like. And my personal take is Roberts was never gone. That if you really look carefully at the kinds of cases he's thinking about, he's always going to give primacy to certain legal propositions that that for him are just dyed in the wool. I do want to say, it's not, in this case, unlike possibly some of his colleagues, I don't think he cares a farthing about Donald Trump or was looking to spring him, though, there's stories to be written about how they took their sweet time. But it does seem as if all of them realized we're going to have to decide this, so they couldn't just leave it to the D.C. Circuit, or they couldn't just quickly affirm, and that was going to take a lot of time no matter what. But I don't think his operating principle was, let's help Donald Trump. I think all of them up there, really all of them up there, all right, all of them up there, and who knows about Alito and Thomas, see Trump as an absolute, at best, an absolute, lying ignoramus. And I don't think they're Trumpist and looking to inaugurate the undying age of Trump. On the other hand, the undying age of executive power, uber alles, that I think is really very much in the kind of tenets that Roberts would like to establish. And you can go through, and both in this term and others, and see the kinds of cases, race discrimination, and a principle of neutral blindness, voting, the Voting Rights Act, where, liberals impose this stuff on the South, where Roberts is not Roberts the umpire, Roberts is not Roberts the institutionalist, Roberts is Roberts the conservative warrior with a singular opportunity to change the law and move it right in important theoretical ways. And you know what? He's going to do it. And this term, more than any he has, he was in the majority, almost 97% of the cases, and it was a notably conservative term with a lot of 6-3 rulings. And of course, the hallmark case that we'll be dealing with and writing with for decades, the immunity case, is just Roberts, without trying to be cute at all, just swung for the fences, cleared the fences. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.